Alright, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, Spanky Bunky back again with another video of singles Bojingles. So we have another set of singles that I picked up or had ordered over a course of maybe like 3-4 weeks with one of my resellers, and we were able to compile a number of cards here across different sets. And for different reasons why I chose these cards, and I would like to share this unboxing with you of these cards that I picked up. So let me just get these cards out and we'll start with this unboxing of these singles, what I picked up over the last couple of weeks. Actually, I do have several singles from 3 different sellers. So this is the first of the 3, but I think this is the most among those 3 cards. Okay, so I believe there would be some chaff here. Yep, and over here as well. So let's just go through the chaff, get them over with, and then we'll get to the business end of this unboxing. Alright, so we have a couple of comments here as usual from MH2, Tragic Full, Annul from Kaldheim, Stone Fury from Commander Legends, Stray Keeper, Dwarven Reinforcements, and Ancient Animals. Okay, so this goes over here to our chaff pile. Okay, so let's get started with the first one. We have Trace of Abundance. So this is an enchantment aura, 2 to cast with hybrid colors of green, white, or red. Enchant land, and that land has Shroud. And whenever enchanted land is tapped for mana, its controller adds 1 mana of any color to his or her mana pool. So this is a great one for me. I think I got a couple of these. Trace of Abundance as well. Let's do the next one. We have Felidar Retreat. So very classic white enchantment, very powerful in some cases. So this one goes to the rare pile over here. Get this down. The light situation is not so good over there. Okay, right, so we have Opaline Sliver. So this is a 3 to cast Sliver with Azorius colors, and says when all slivers have, whenever this creature becomes the target of a spell on opponent control, you may draw a card. So I actually did pick up a Sliver deck from the Commander Masters Precon. So let me see if this would work for that particular deck. So let's go see a comment back here. Okay. Let me just fix my light situation there. Give me a second. Okay, here we go. Next up, we have Spire of Industry. Okay, it's a land. Tap it, pay 1 life, add 1 mana of any color, activate only if you control an artifact. Okay, so we'll put this over here in the land section. Next, we have Stolen by the Fae. This is from the Thrones of Eldraine set. So it's an X mana and 2 blue. And it's a sorcery. Return target creature with converted mana cost X to its owner's hand. You create X/1/1 blue fairy creature tokens with flying. So I'm thinking of putting together a fairy tribal deck. Or I might just pick up the Precon from the Wilds of Eldraine set. So this would probably be a good include for that. Next up, we have Etched Champion. So this is a serviceable artifact creature, 2/2 with Metalcraft. So as long as you control 3 or more artifacts, it actually gets protection from all colors. Pretty good. Okay. Next up, another Etched Champion. So I think this is from the, what is this? Dominaria United Commander Precon deck, maybe? Okay, next we have a Prismatic Geoscope. So it's a 5 to cast artifact, and it enters battlefield tapped, and it has Domain. So tap it, add X mana in any combination of colors to your mana pool, where X is the number of basic land types among lands you control. So I think this would go well with my 5-color Sliver deck, since this will allow me to tap for all of that mana, yeah? Okay, next up, we have Slave of Bolas. So it's 5 to cast with hybrid blue, red, black, and 3 colorless. It's a sorcery. Gain control of target creature. Untap that creature. It gains haste until end of turn. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. So I'm actually playing these colors with my Witch Bitch, which is, what's her name? The Crazy Eyes Curse Commander. I forget her name now, but I think this would be a good card to put in there for interaction. Cool. Okay, next up we have Harsh Mentor. So I think this is from Amonkhet. It's a human cleric, 2 to cast, 2 power toughness creature, and it says whenever an opponent activates an ability of an artifact, creature, or land on the battlefield, if it isn't a mana ability, Harsh Mentor deals 2 damage to that player. Okay, just to add to the collection. It's something I don't have. Okay, coming up we have Dream Fracture. It's an uncommon instant, 3 to cast, counter target spell, its controller draws a card, and you draw a card. Okay, and then up next we have Malevolent Witch Kite. So this is a 60 cast rare from the recent Wilds of Eldraine set. It's a 5/4 Flying Dragon Warlock, and says when Malevolent Witch Kite enters the battlefield, sacrifice any number of artifacts, enchantments, and or tokens, then draw that many cards. So great card draw. Okay, and then we have Foil Sting, the Glinting Dagger. So let me pull these out. I think I got maybe 2 of these. Did I? Okay, that's what's on the other side. Oh yeah, it's also Sting. Okay, so I was able to get 2 foil versions of this. This is actually, I would say, an underrated artifact equipment, because as you can see, it gets 1/1, but at the beginning of each combat, meaning not just your turn, you're able to untap if a creature. So you can, in a commander game, you can actually untap this creature 3 times, right, before your turn. So this is pretty cool. Okay, so let me put that over here on the foil pile there. Just move this down a bit. Okay. Next, we have a Sedge Sliver. Again, this will go into my Sliver deck. So 3 to cast Sliver, 2/2. All Slivers have this creature gets +1/+1 as long as you control a swamp, and pay black to regenerate this creature. Cool. Next, we have a Ward Sliver. So this is a 5 to cast Sliver, and Ward Sliver comes to play. Choose a color. All Slivers have protection from the chosen color. Nice. Okay, more options for the Sliver deck. Okay, then we have a Sithis, Harvest's Hand. I've recently put together an Enchantress deck, and yeah, I would just like to have extra copies of Sithis lying around. It's a pretty powerful card, and in fact, a very strong commander too, given the card draw there and the low casting cost. Next, we have a Timber Paladin. So this is a card from the Wilds of Eldraine, I think the Commander Precons. So it's a 2 to cast artifact creature knight with power toughness 1/1. Now, it has a lot of text here, but basically it says that if it is enchanted by 1 aura, it has base power 3/3. If there are 2 auras, it has base power and toughness 5/5 and vigilance. And if it's enchanted by 3 or more auras, it has base power and toughness 10/10, vigilance, and trample. So I actually do have a deck that, which is Galea, which is an aura and equipment deck. So I think I can slot this one into that particular commander deck that I have. So that's pretty good, and it's a boardless version too. Another boardless card, we have Tegwell's Scouring from the Wilds of Eldraine. I believe this is also from the Commander Precons. So 6 to cast, you may cast Tegwell's Scouring as though it had flash by tapping 3 untapped creatures you control with flying, in addition to paying its other costs, such as fairies. Destroy all creatures, create 3/1/1 black fairy rogue creature tokens with flying. So at least when you do this board wipe, you're not left with an empty board state, and you have 3/1/1 tokens. Okay. Next up, we have a Belligerent Sliver. So another 3 to cast Sliver, which says Sliver creatures you control have this creature can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures. Basically, Menache. Yeah. From M15. Next, we have a Fury Sliver, 6 to cast, and it just gives everyone double strike. I mean, all slivers. And then we have a Fairy Blade Crafter. So it's a 3 to cast Fairy Rogue from Wilds of Eldraine again. 2/2 with flying, and whenever one or more fairies you control deal combat damage to a player, put a 1/1 counter on Fairy Blade Crafter. When Fairy Blade Crafter dies, each opponent loses X life, and you gain X life, where X is its power. Okay. So more cards for that fairy deck. And speaking of which, we have this time Nimris, Una's Trickster. So it's a 5 to cast Fairy Knight. Power Toughness 1/6, it has Flash and Flying. And reads, whenever you cast your first spell, during each opponent's turn, look at the top 2 cards of your library. Put one of those cards into your hand and the other into your graveyard. Nice. Get some card advantage there. Okay, coming up, we have an Archmage of Echoes. 5 to cast Fairy Wizard with Power Toughness 4/4. It has Flying, War, and Ward 2. It says whenever you cast a fairy or wizard permanent spell, copy it. The copy becomes a token. Wow, this is actually pretty good. If you're spamming like wizard or fairy spells, you just end up coming up with copies for them. And yeah, if there are ETB triggers, that's pretty awesome. Okay, and then next up we have a Dungrove Elder. So this is from M12 or 2012. I don't really know much cards from there, but it's a 3 to cast Tree Folk, which has Hexproof. And Dungrove Elder's Power and Toughness are equal to the number of forests you control. Okay, just a nice serviceable card there for probably for mono green. Next we have an Elemental Resonance. So it's a 4 to cast Aura, and it says at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, add mana equal to the enchanted permanent's mana cost to your mana pool. Ooh, okay. So this is a great way to ramp in terms of mana. Manas. And then we have an Unnatural Growth. So this is an enchantment from the Midnight Hunt set. 5 to cast, which is 1 and 4 greens. It says at the beginning of each combat, double the power and toughness of each creature you control until end of turn. Right, very, very powerful. And on the flip side, we have a Sterling Grove. So enchantments you control have Shroud, and you can sacrifice it, search for an enchantment, and put it on top of your library. Okay, so this I do like. Just to fill up some of the cards in my collection. But Unnatural Growth is something that I don't have yet, so I'll see if I can add this to one of my commander decks. Next, we have another Sedge Sliver, which we opened earlier, and a Thorncaster Sliver, 5 to cast, 2/2 Sliver, and says Sliver creatures you control have whenever this creature attacks, it deals 1 damage to target creature or player. Okay, so we were able to pick up several slivers, a couple of very nice rares, and a couple of them to be used in the future for building up a fairy deck. But what I'm liking here actually would be the Timber Paladin, which I think would go well in that Galea deck. And the prized possession here would be the 2 foil Stained Glinting Daggers. So mark my words, I think these artifacts, equipments will get up there in price as people start to learn how busted things can become with these cards in play. So let's see and watch out for how these things pan out in terms of value. Alright guys, thanks for joining me on this one. I hope you enjoyed this Singles BOJINGLES unboxing, and I will catch you on the next one. See you. Bye bye.